BTOG.
NOWL. NOW.
BTOG. BIRD. BTOG. BTOG. ATXG. BTOG. ONFO.
AMD. AMDL.
ONFO. ATXG. ONFO.
OWL.
ONFO. BTOG. BTOG.
You had the Somalians in Minnesota and the Armenians in California, and they're trying to protect these people who are committing this fraud. They're stealing millions upon millions of dollars, and it just makes you wonder who their donors are. Like, who are their donors? Because why would they create this bill to then try and make it harder to expose fraud?
Yeah, that's a great question. Who is funding Mia Bonta's campaigns? Why would she be pushing this bill? Why would she be so threatened by your journalism? Those are actually great questions that we'll do our best to look into. I know you will as well, Nick, because you do great work out there, and we encourage you to keep it up. Thank you, Nick Shirley. Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.
The Structure Motorized Pergola system is reinventing the way homeowners experience the outdoors. The most versatile, modern, useful outdoor patio space ever designed. It creates the perfect blend of sun, shade, and shelter at all times, so you can still enjoy time outdoors. Even if it rains, is windy, or the sun is out. With a Structure Motorized Pergola, your family now enjoys quality time together in the fresh air, sun, and perfect amount of shade. See what Victoria has to say.
So we love our Structure patio cover because it feels very much like an extension to our home. It doesn't feel like a patio, it feels like a living room, which is exactly what we wanted. We spend a lot of time out here as a family. My daughter wants to watch TV out here every single day. We're barbecuing out here. I actually work from home a lot, and so I spend a lot of time out here working, but it just feels like our house just got big.
Welcome back. The White House confirming it has not requested an extension to the ceasefire with Iran as the 2-week pause is set to expire this upcoming Wednesday. The U.S. military maintaining the blockade on Iranian ports as discussions between Pakistan's military chief and Iranian leaders are happening today in Tehran. The president also said on Truth Social overnight that leaders from Israel and Lebanon will be speaking today, but no details there. Over on Capitol Hill, Senate Republicans have blocked a 4th vote that would have limited the president's war powers. The Senate also rejecting an effort to halt arms sales to Israel. More than 36 Democrats supported that effort. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman was with me here yesterday. He said he would vote no on both measures, and he did. Watch this. Why are these issues important to you? Because you always stand alone in this, and it's courageous, and we appreciate it.
What President Trump decided to do was deal with the Iranian regime. Every single president since 1979 wanted to deal with it, and how could you turn your back and pretend that was? I mean, can you imagine? Could you imagine if Iran acquired a nuclear bomb, where they would be right now, or they were able to build the kinds of missiles that could reach Europe or the other American assets in the region for that? So that's what's necessary. That's the right side of history for me. And I'll be the only Democrat that supported it publicly, but I guarantee I'm not the only Democrat, at least privately, refuse to acknowledge that, because politically it's very toxic as a Democrat.
Joining me now is New York Congressman Mike Lawler, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, you got to give John Fetterman the credit he deserves on all of this. How is it possible that no other Senate Democrats are with him on Iran?
It's really shameful where the Democratic Party has gone on Iran, entirely because they hate President Trump. The fact is, President Trump made a righteous decision, a courageous decision, but a difficult one, to go after Iran's nuclear program, striking 3 facilities last summer, and here in March, beginning the efforts to end its ballistic missiles capability, its naval fleet, working with Israel, eliminating the Ayatollah, the clerics, the leadership of the IRGC. The fact that you have Democrats pushing an Iran war powers resolution that would call for the immediate withdrawal at a time when the administration is trying to negotiate final terms, inclusive of removing the enriched uranium and ending their funding of terrorism around the globe. You have people openly rooting in the United States Senate and House of Representatives for the Iranian regime in doing this. They are seeking to give them cover. They are seeking to help them in these negotiations by undercutting and undermining the president and the United States of America.
Yeah.
I think it is shameful. And the fact that you had 85% of the Senate Democrats vote yesterday to end military aid to Israel speaks volumes to where the Democratic Party has gone over this past year, because they are capitulating to Bernie Sanders and AOC.
You know,
that is the leadership of their party.
And if you compare today, what's going on today, to, let's call it World War II, right? I put in a question in ChatGPT and said, if we were to look at the media back during World War II and look at how they're reporting this current conflict, how would the media report on World War II? Here's what I got from ChatGPT. Ready? Leaders like Franklin D. Roosevelt would face nonstop scrutiny, not near unified messaging like in the 1940s. Social media would amplify dissent, leaks, and battlefield setbacks in real time, changing public support even faster. How many people? Hundreds of thousands of people died in World War II. Imagine how the media would be reporting it if they were reporting the way they are today. You're right. The media is against President Trump, even though he is trying to stop a potential nuclear.
These elastic cargo pants will make you look 10 years younger and slimmer. My dad used to wear
terrorist.
Barack Obama engaged in a 7-month conflict in Libya that resulted in a civil war in Libya.
And the media
and the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, fully supported it. And did not believe a war powers resolution was necessary. We are in a 6-week war to eliminate the threat posed by a nuclear Iran, something Republicans and Democrats have said for years cannot happen.
Unbelievable.
But because it's Donald Trump, they are melting down, and they have all changed their perspective and opinion on it.
All right, let's get to the business at hand and your plans for reconciliation. You and your colleagues working on this second budget reconciliation with the main focus, the president told me it's going to be slim, he called it, and that is funding Customs and Border Patrol and funding ICE. You've got to. We've got the Department of Homeland Security closed for 62 days. 62 days, and we're in the middle of a war. We talked with House Majority Whip Tom Emmer here. He was joining me on this program, and he told me that the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, is having discussions now for a slim bill on funding that, and then perhaps another reconciliation later in the year. Here's what he said. Watch. You got a lot of priorities. You got the priorities for defense spending. The president wants a $1.5 trillion defense budget. You've also got the Save America Act. Are you expecting to do another reconciliation before the midterms then?
That is our Speaker's intention. In fact, we had this discussion last night that was the intent to do for the second reconciliation bill until the Senate decided to handle it the way they did, which didn't work for the House. Literally passing a bill that carved out the Customs and Border Patrol and immigration enforcement officers from the bill. That did not work in the House, so it held everything up. Now we had to pivot to a reconciliation bill because Democrats will not help us with anything. They will not vote for anything that will put the Americans' safety first. Well, so we're going to have to do it.
Is there support for that in the House, Congressman?
Well, the reason we have to do reconciliation in the immediate is because it's not just 62 days. It's 105 days since last October that Democrats have shut down the Department of Homeland Security. Remember the 43-day shutdown in October into November. So 105 days that the Department of Homeland Security has shut down, all because Democrats don't want to enforce our immigration laws. They want to abolish ICE. They want to abolish CBP. We will not stand for that. Republicans are unified in backing President Trump on securing the border and deporting criminal aliens, period.
But are you unified on another reconciliation before the midterms to include defense spending and potentially the SAVE Act, Save America Act?
We are going to have to deal, obviously, with ICE and CBP.
MYSE.
The next step would be dealing with funding for the war in Iran. And yes, the SAVE Act is something that all of us support. We believe you need proof of citizenship to vote in our elections. You have cities like New York trying to allow illegal immigrants the right to vote. New York Republicans fought back against that. We won in state court and ended that. But Democrats fundamentally believe illegals should have the right to vote in our elections. We don't. We believe you need voter ID. So these are issues that Democrats have been blocking in the Senate continuously. They've been blocking funding for our military. They've been blocking funding for ICE and Customs and Border Patrol.
We will do everything we have to do. Come the midterms? You're not so worried about the midterms as some of your colleagues are.
ALEC.
Look, I feel good about where I am because I've been doing the work. I delivered for my district on increasing the cap on salt. The average New Yorker is getting an over $4,000 tax refund. In my district, anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 people are getting refunded because of New York's insanely high property taxes and income taxes. And oh, by the way, Kathy Hochul just capitulated to AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Zohran Mamdani, and she's going to increase taxes on New Yorkers.
Just like you said she would.
Absolutely. I said, mark my words, she will raise taxes, and she's doing it.
Congressman, good to see you. Thanks very much for your efforts. Mike Lawler here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
AGAE.
WSHP.